D is for Edwidge Danticat.
Breath, Eyes, Memory.
Yeah.
Okay.
Clearly it was an Oprah Books Club
I
selection.
was going to say, I see the badge on the, the sticker. Give us some insight on why you picked this author.
So the story is about a 12-year-old Haitian girl who gets sent to live, I think, with her aunt in New York, or her mom who had left. And this is a very common experience for, I guess, a lot of Caribbean people. We're talking about Frederick Ivor's Caribbean people that came in the 50s and 60s, the kind of shit that they had to deal with. Mm-hmm. A lot of Black people who've had to come to Canada, they come to work as domestic servants. They come to work as, they came to work in fields that white Canadians don't want to do, right? And work in the factories, work in fields, growing fruit and stuff like that. And often the immigration laws which are racist, don't give them the ability to bring their children, don't give them the ability to have status. So now we're talking critical race theory, how the law works to maintain hierarchies. Just keep weaving it in. But anyway, she's a beautiful writer. Her stories, both her nonfiction and her fiction, she gets to the heart of people's experiences. And I just like the line in her book. I like her as an author. I think you should read her just because she's a great storyteller. I'll just leave it at that. The line that I chose was, I come from a place where breath, eyes, and memory are one, a place from which you carry your past like the hair on your head, where women return to their children as butterflies or as tears in the eyes of the statues that their daughters pray to. My mother was as brave as stars at dawn. She too was from this place. My mother was like the woman who could never bleed and then could never stop bleeding, the one who gave into her pain to live as a butterfly. Yes, my mother was like me. So, for me, it just resonates because if any of you ever had immigrant parents and the kind of trauma and the kind of pain, but the kind of power that all of our mothers have, this kind of story will resonate, and how we carry it, reproduce it, try to heal from it, try to create something else. Like that's all part of the personal journey of being part of colonized people who have always resisted that, who've always resisted really painful conditions and survived and created beautiful lives amidst all of it. So she's a beautiful writer. That's all I gotta say about Edwidge Danticat.
Do you think that healing that you speak of is something that our generation has started, or do you feel like it's been going on prior to sort of us examining our past? Because I when I speak to my parents and I speak to people that were born before us, I often find that they haven't gone through that process yet. They don't have the resources to necessarily begin that healing process. What's sort of your take on that?
I think it's different kinds of healing and different kinds of work each generation does. So I think they had different battles. They survived different things and they survived those things. Like they're here, and they did what they had to do to survive those things. And they did, like, for my mom, for instance, I'm not even my mom, but there was one generation where, so for my mom's generation, for her, for instance, I would say she resisted patriarchy. She resisted being dominated by men in a particular way. That was probably different from what her sisters or her mother,
Yeah.
Me, I'm all here being queer and the rest of it, and it's a whole different kind of life I'm creating for myself. But she really, my mom, her, lived on her own terms in so many ways that are incredibly radical. But there's, of course, lots of trauma that she is not going to be able. There's a lot of things that somebody put it the certain wounds, they don't heal, they just scab.
Ooh, is that your bar?
Huh?
Was that your bar? Did you?
That's not me. That's somebody else. Somebody was a genocide survivor who said that to me once, right? That there's no healing from this, but you build something to cover it and to protect yourself still. And I feel like things are very cyclical as well. So it's every generation suffers and heals and creates and resists in their own way. And every set of people does it in their own way. And in every generation, in every group of people, there's always the ones that are about what is life-giving, like that are fighting for like meaningful life, and that are, no, I'm not gonna follow the race to death that other people are on. Like, I'm not on that train. Mm-hmm. And they preserve that for all of us, I think. So that's my thought about that.
Okay, so that was a letter D, and now you're going to go to the last one here for this week.
D is for Danticat, Edwidge Danticat.